Hi, students, and welcome to today's lesson. I'm Ms. Albina. Today, we will explore the question, what can fossils reveal about a region? Are you ready? Grab your pencil and your science journal, and let's get started. Wow, look at this. What is this place? Doesn't look like my backyard. Can you help me figure out where this photograph was taken? What do you see? I see a canyon with steep walls. Oh, and it looks like there is a river running along the bottom. And there are plants, too. Are those small trees growing along the edge of the river? I wonder when this photograph was taken. What do you think? It looks to me like it was taken in the spring or summer because the plants are green and there's no snow on the ground. I think this photograph was also taken recently. I know old photographs are often black and white, and this one is in color. And hey, look at these rocks. I remember our butterfly fossil was an imprint in a rock. Do you think there are any fossils in these rocks? As it turns out, this is a photograph of Santa Elena Canyon in Big Bend National Park, located in Southwest Texas, which is right here on this map. Where do you live? Can you find your state on this map of the United States? Let's think about other maps of the United States. Does anything look different about this map? Most maps show individual states, but this map also shows different regions of the United States. Regions are groups of states that are near one another and that usually share similar geography. You can use the key to figure out which region you live in. Hey, did you know that you can find different fossils in different regions of the United States? And those fossils can reveal information about the past. Let's take a look at some of the different fossils found in the different regions. These are some of the fossils that paleontologists have found in the Northeast region. And these are some that they found in the Southeast. Paleontologists have discovered these fossils in the Midwest region, these in the Northwest Central region, these in the Southwest region, and these in the West, which leaves us with just one region, the South Central region. For our work together, we will focus on the South Central region. Let's get to know this region a little better. What states do you see in this region? I see Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. My friend Ms. Lee lives in Texas, and I'd love to show you some of the fossils there that I'm curious about. Now, don't forget, we began our lesson in the Santa Elena Canyon, which is also in Texas. The canyon is an example of what the South Central region looks like today, but this is a fossil of an organism that lived in this area millions of years ago. Do you think the South Central region looks the same today as it did when the organism that made this fossil was alive? Can this fossil tell us anything about the South Central region? In this lesson, we will investigate the question, what can fossils reveal about a region? But first, let's play a game. It's a matching game and a memory game, so watch closely. I have 3 photographs of fossils and 3 sketches of the organisms that created those fossils. I will turn all of them face down and shuffle them around. Then I'll turn over 2 at a time, and you tell me whether the fossil and the organism match. If they match, we will keep them face up, but if they don't match, we'll turn them over and try again. Ready? Let's play. I'll mix up the cards. All right, let's turn over 1 card and 1 more. This one. What do you think? Does the photograph match the drawing? I don't know, the fossils in the photograph look oval-shaped, and they have little ridges on them. But the organisms in the drawing are shaped like cones, and they have little hairs or tentacles on top. I don't think these match. Let's turn them over and try again. Let's turn over one. Okay, here's a new fossil photograph. What do you notice about it? I noticed that it's kind of shaped like an ice cream cone, so I imagine the organism that created it had a similar shape. I also notice, are those thick hairs on the top? Hold on, this fossil looks familiar. Do you think it matches the drawing we saw before? Where was that again? Can you point to it for me? Did you point here? If so, great job, because I think we have our first match. Let's look for another match. Here's one we haven't seen before. It looks kind of like a shell, doesn't it? I found shells like this at the beach before. Let's see if we can find a match. What do you think? I see that the fossil has some ridges, and so does the organism in the drawing. See here and here. But the fossil is a semicircle shape, like half a pizza, and the organism in the drawing is more of an oval. Wait a second, I think this drawing looks like the first fossil we saw. Where was that fossil again? Oh, fossils! Here they are. See how these fossils and this organism have the same shape? They also have similar pattern of ridges. Another match. So that just leaves these two. See how they both have a semicircle shape? And they have similar ridges. Looks like a match to me. What we just did, matching fossils to the organisms that formed them, is part of the work that paleontologists do. Paleontologists study fossils to learn more about the organisms that made them and the environment where those organisms lived. What do you notice about these organisms? What kind of environment might these organisms have lived in? I notice that the organism on the bottom looks like a clamshell or a scallop shell. And I know clams, scallops, and other organisms with shells typically live in water, so this organism might have lived in water as well. In fact, I wonder whether all of these organisms lived underwater. Do you think there used to be an ocean in the South Central region? Now that we have some more information about the environment where the organisms from our game lived, do you notice any extra details? Do you have any new questions about the fossils or the organisms that formed them? How about the environment where they lived? Let's take a closer look at the fossils that paleontologists uncovered in other regions. Oh, wow! You know, they all remind me of organisms that live underwater. Like this one. It kind of reminds me of a lobster. Or this one looks a lot like a shrimp. All of these fossils formed around the same time. In fact, this illustration shows what paleontologists determined the environment of North America looked like when all the organisms that formed our fossils were alive. What kind of environment does it look like to you? Do you see that in the background? Is that a fish or maybe a shark? And I'm not sure what this organism is, but it seems to be swimming. And hey, these organisms look like they could have made the fossil we saw. Do you think the South Central region was completely underwater at one point in time? Or might there have been some land as well? But wait a minute, I've visited Ms. Lee in Texas, and I have to tell you, I didn't see any of those organisms swimming down the street. I wonder why the region looks so different now. Today, the South Central region is mostly dry land. It even has deserts and mountains. So what do these fossils reveal about the past environment of the South Central region? What do the fossils found in your region reveal about the past environment there? One of your tasks after this lesson is to sketch what your region may have looked like when the organisms that left these fossils were alive. You'll also write a description of your sketch. Fossils can teach us so much about the past. Were you surprised by what you found out today? I certainly would not have guessed that most of what is now North America was once underwater. What else can we learn from fossils? Now, our butterfly fossil formed more recently than the fossils we studied today, but it still formed millions of years before the present. What do you think the environment was like when this butterfly fossil formed? Do you think our butterfly fossil can teach us anything interesting? As we move forward, let's continue to investigate and see where our fossil evidence leads us. Let's review your tasks for today. First, draw a sketch of your region's past environment. Be sure to use evidence from this lesson, especially the regional fossil map, to help you decide what to include in your sketch in order to make it as accurate as possible. Second, write a description